Okay, guys, I was about to take a day off when I saw this person that looked really familiar left a comment in my video. A couple days ago, I posted this video addressing a complete list every time Dogpack404 lied. He responded. I want to respond back. Now, I may be just a small channel, and I may be going up against literally the biggest guy spreading hate around the world with something million views each video. But f*** it, I just want the truth. Before I start, a very obligatory disclaimer that yes, I also think Chris Tyson is terrible, and yes, I also think Delaware is terrible, but I also think Dogpack is terrible, which is the reason why I'm exposing him. Dogpack, you want Mr. Beast to respond to you. If you want to claim yourself as a whistleblower whose motives are just to expose the truth.
But you're doing it to expose the truth on woke media.
Exactly.
Out of a sense of justice, and this isn't some act of revenge that you plotted because you got fired after 3 weeks for conduct that even you acknowledged as inappropriate, then I'll respond for you. No memes, no background music in this video. Just facts, logic, and evidence. Sound good? Alright, line number 1. Mr. Beast's subscribers are never random.
They are never random subscribers. If you subscribe, you will not win $1 million.
You said they are never random subscribers is an undeniable fact for 2 reasons. By default, subscriptions are private, and there is no way to contact people through YouTube. You said this was undeniable, yet I can prove otherwise. I presented evidence. Jeremy. Jeremy is a verified contestant from Mr. Beast. To make sure he was who he claimed to be, I reached out to the person who initially made contact with Jeremy to double check his credibility. He is verified to be the same person shown in the Mr. Beast video through his work email and verified Instagram. Jeremy said he was on a challenge for Mr. Beast. Jeremy also claimed he was subscribed to his channel and picked out of the comment section. This directly contradicts her claim that they are never random subscribers.
They are never random subscribers. If you subscribe, you will not win $1 million.
You deflected this evidence. This is the first point you need to address. You claimed they were never random subscribers. Jeremy was a random subscriber. What is your take on Jeremy? You also said by default, subscriptions are private. It is. You can also switch it on to public. For example, I can see the subscriber list for my YouTube studio. No one has the right to open information on people who set their information to be private. However, for the people that switched it on to public, I can still choose random subscribers. Therefore, your first reason that the default subscriptions are private, and therefore Mr. Beast can never choose random subscribers, is invalid. Second part of your reasoning. You say there is no way to contact people through YouTube. That is not true. This is a screen for setting up your YouTube channel that literally says contact information. For example, I only put up my email information on my YouTube channel and several people successfully contact me through email. Again, if people choose to not put up their contact information on their YouTube, that is perfectly fine. Setting their subscriptions to be private or not wanting to be found their real identity through a YouTube channel is perfectly within their rights and it's their choice to do so. But if people choose to leave their accounts up, Mr. Beast can still contact those people randomly. Therefore, your second reason that there is no way to contact people through YouTube is invalid. Now that you followed up on it, I'll ask you one more question. When you said the contestants are never random subscribers, were you speaking from knowledge as an insider or were you speculating based on these 2 reasonings that you brought up? Hoping you can clarify. Next point, you show people claiming they got into the videos from buying merch as proof people got into the videos from subscribing. Did you miss the illegal lottery section? He is referring to these evidences. This Reddit user says, I know this post is old, but I just got a call from this team from a merch list about possibly being in a video. I'm assuming they took a look at recent merch deals and picked from there. This user also confirms that fact. This user also said he got in the Squid Game video from buying his merch. This user said he was contacted through Twitter by Mr. Beast for being his 5 million subscriber. Let's get into your argument. You show people claiming they got into the videos from buying merch as proof people got into the videos from subscribing. To put your argument into a statement that is more coherent, people selected from buying merch does not count as people selected from subscribing. This is what you're claiming, correct? I'm guessing you want to be very technical about the word subscribing. First of all, Mr. Beast was very transparent about this, even back in 2019. He flat out said buying his merch was one of the ways that you can get into his video.
How are you gonna pick all the other people? I'm glad you asked. Here's how. If you buy merch or follow me on Instagram, you'll be entered. It's that simple. We're gonna randomly pick people who follow me on Instagram or people who buy merch in between now and the next few challenges, and we're gonna invite them down to compete.
Subscribing is one way you can get into his video. Buying merch is also one way you can get into his video. Following him on Instagram is also one way you can get into his video. I propose that people that bought his merch or followed him on his Instagram were still showing support towards him, and therefore choosing randomly out of these people count as random subscribers. If you still want to be very technical about the word subscriber, that is fine. I still have Jeremy to counter that argument. Also, the audience can decide for themselves. Regarding the second part of your response, did you miss the illegal lottery section? No, I did not. In the very same video, Mr. Beast emphasizes no purchase necessary, also countering your argument. Next point, line number 2. Mr. Beast's contestants are almost always local to Mr. Beast. Let's look at the claim in your video.
So yeah, the random subscribers you see in challenges are actually never random. They're almost always local to Mr. Beast.
Let's read your argument. You use a clip of me saying they are almost always local to Mr. Beast, then show 7 apparent contestants who are currently not local according to their LinkedIn. That video is 3 years old video. There were 100 contestants in that video. People can move, and I believe 24 of the contestants were selected from the 24-hour livestream illegal lottery. Dogpack. First of all, you got the numbers wrong. Please do your research. It's just right there. These 3 are from North Carolina. These 6, not 7, are from outside of North Carolina. This woman is from Texas. This woman is from Colorado. This woman is from Ohio. This woman is from Virginia. This man is from California. This man is from Texas. You use a clip of me saying they are almost always local to Mr. Beast. Dogpack. I didn't use 1 or 2 examples. I used 6 different cases. How many more do you want? Also, you say 7 apparent contestants who are currently not local according to their LinkedIn. That video is 3 years old video. There were 100 contestants in that video. People can move. You are claiming all of these contestants happened to all be in North Carolina 3 years prior and all moved away in the span of 3 years. Yes, they could move. They also could not. Which do you think is more likely? Let's ask the audience. What do you guys think? And I believe 24 of the contestants were selected from the 24-hour livestream illegal lottery. First of all, what do you mean you believe? Do you have evidence? I know you're basing this from your part 1 video where you talk about how during the livestream, Mr. Beast selects 24 people to be in a circle, but that was speculation. That wasn't evidence.
And we're gonna have 24 people, we're gonna put them in 24 different circles. $1 million on the line, have some fun, you know what I'm saying?
Also, this video never happened. There is no Mr. Beast video of 24 people in circles competing for $1 million. Unless it ended up being 100 people in a circle competing for $500,000.
Another point you need to address. Is this based on speculation from watching the footage of that live stream, or do you have evidence? Because the fact that you're willing to believe your own argument doesn't do anything. The last person you show is Akira Andrews, who is an affiliate of Mr. Beast according to his entry on the Mr. Beast Wiki. He's been in multiple videos and is not a random subscriber. I saw the Mr. Beast Wiki. It says his first appearance was in Last to Fall Wins $1 million Part 1. This is the same video that we saw before, where Mr. Beast explicitly states that buying his merch or following him on Instagram can lead to people participating in a challenge, inviting him back to challenges after he was chosen randomly, and that is what is meant by affiliate, does nothing to support your claim that other random subscribers can still be initially invited, and does not support your claim that his subscribers are never random. You purposely use the word affiliate without explaining context in your comments, misleading people into believing false information. That does not work with me, Dogpack. Also, people are not stupid. Most of us who do the least bit of research can see right through your manipulation and lies. Line number 3. Mr. Beast's contestants are usually someone from the industry or influencers with large following.
And when they do pull someone from outside of North Carolina, it's usually somebody who's in the industry, who's camera trained, who has built a following.
This begins at the 136 mark in my video. You never responded to this. I'll ask you again. The blonde woman had 1,588 Instagram followers and 8 YouTube subscribers. She was the one with the largest following here. This directly contradicts your argument that these 6 people are someone from the industry or influencers with large following. And that's from just one guy researching. Imagine how many more there would be. Are you gonna say, oh, I said usually again? The same way you said, oh, I said almost, and oh, I said allegedly? Look where that got you the last time, Dogpack. If you're seriously thinking about that, okay. To which I will say, bring me evidence. I'm not the one throwing allegations around, but I still showed you evidence. And then you say, oh, I said almost and usually, fine. Bring me evidence where almost all of the contestants from Mr. Beast videos are local. By the way, the screenshot of a Discord chat you brought last time only showed an announcement that they're replenishing the North Carolina database. The fact that they're replenishing the North Carolina database, which may be a part of the entire database, does not connect to the evidence that every database is from North Carolina. See, this is what you do. You bring unrelated piece of information and claim it as evidence. You do this later on too, which I'll get to in a bit. Line number 4. I worked a 90-day contract with with Mr. Beast. Let's read what you said. My contract was 90 days. I was told when I was let go that I could put the full 90 days on my resume and LinkedIn. Immediately after that contract was terminated early, I was hired by Mr. Beast's friends company that does work for Mr. Beast. Let's go over this too. You claimed in your Reddit comment you worked for Mr. Beast a bit in February, trial period in March, and then a 90-day contract from April 1st to end of June. Can you see how people will look at this and think you worked a 90-day contract from April 1st to end of June for Mr. Beast, not his friends company? You got fired after 3 weeks, terminating April 19th. You didn't mention this anywhere in your comment. You work for his friends company. You didn't mention this anywhere in your comment. Can you see how this will be very misleading for people? You were told when you were let go that you could put the full 90 days on your resume and LinkedIn, but can you see how they were trying to be nice to you for your next career so you can put that in your documents? Can you see how by actively telling people that you worked a 90-day contract and that you worked for Mr. Beast, you gained huge credibility for yourself than just a random person on the internet? Next point. Lawyers can claim whatever they want in a cease and desist. Most of this is untrue. When my manager got upset about me sending a request for an Apple Vision Pro, I literally said, it's not like I was trying to swindle the company for some toy, saying it was not a toy. iPad Kid was in the context of explaining why I didn't want to promote bad things to kids. What do you mean most of this is untrue? When you say most, you are claiming a huge chunk of this document is false. After the first introduction, the first point this document brings up is that you broke your NDA regarding social media restriction, which is obviously true. It explains you were fired after 3 weeks, which you acknowledge is true. The toy and the iPad bit you try to explain, which we'll get to in a bit. Next section describes you breaking your NDA agreement by releasing company documents, which you did. Releasing business information and strategies, which you did. The last section is about Mr. Beast suing you. What do you mean most of this document is untrue? Your manager got upset about you sending a request for an Apple Vision Pro. Why did you try to buy an Apple Vision Pro? Was it for your own personal gain? Or was it work-related? If it was work-related, why did you do this secretly? And why did your manager get mad? And why did you acknowledge your behavior was inappropriate yourself? When you said, it's not like I was trying to swindle the company for some toy, you were implying that the company has a lot of money and that you buying Apple Vision Pro with company money is trivial, associating the word toy with Apple Vision Pro. Also, the document states you attributed your inappropriate conduct to programming from being raised with access to an iPad and bad mental health. Then you explained iPad Kid was in the context of explaining why you didn't want to promote bad things to kids. How did the conversation shift from you secretly trying to buy Apple Vision Pro to you not wanting to promote bad things to kids? You never explained the shift in context. Also, what do you mean? How does you buying Apple Vision Pro with company money related to you being raised with access to an iPad and not wanting to promote bad things to kids? Line number 5. Mr. Beast's cousin is a domestic offender. We absolutely do not know for a fact that I alleged an innocent man for domestic violence. I just believe that the charges were not filed for domestic violence. Charges were also not filed against Lokoya Hill, so are the allegations against him false. Charges themselves are unproven accusations, not convictions. A lot of former employees still alleged to have witnessed or experienced James Warren's abuse firsthand. Let's go over this too. You initially accused James Warren, Mr. Beast's cousin, for being a domestic violence offender in your video, Mr. Beast's Secret CEO.
I heard that he's very aggressive. I've heard him referred to as a who screams at people and hits his girlfriends. There's allegedly domestic charges that were filed against him. And I say allegedly because it turns out there's a lot of people in North Carolina named James Warren who their girlfriends, I guess. So I'm still having people look into these cases, specifically that surprise witness on YouTube.
Let's look at what your own trusted source had to say about it.
I did look into this and I went into it thinking he had done that. Okay. I went into it thinking he did it and I'm just going to have to find the paperwork. And suffice it to say, I just don't think this is the same James Warren. It doesn't even appear that this James Warren is even related to this James Warren that we're talking about. I don't think that that is him. So I am not prepared to make the allegation that he committed some type of domestic incident.
Then when this Twitter user called you out on it, you said, line number 6, that surprise witness was never my source. No words can describe how frustrated and angry people felt, including myself, but I think this guy best put it. You credited her and said you got help being provided the info from her. You plugged her videos. If it's true you got info from her and she herself is explaining she's not too sure if all the info is 100% correct and you ran with it, you are slandering someone then. You say in the video that she helped get information for you and is therefore a type of source. You also said you put out the claim with a clear disclaimer that it's not proven. Yeah, but okay. You know, I'm just gonna let WestJet do the talking for me.
So you can't just say, oh, PewDiePie's a pedophile, allegedly, and get away with it, right?
Then he said, line number 7, I never mentioned the James Warren case in my video.
There's allegedly domestic charges that were filed against him. And I say allegedly because it turns out there's a lot of people in North Carolina named James Warren who Their girlfriends, I guess.
I never mentioned the James Warren case in my video. You didn't address this in your comment as well. Plus, what do you mean he was exaggerating and making a mountain out of a molehill? You brought an unrelated domestic case and associated it with an unrelated man. How is that exaggerating? Then you took it into your own hands. You said you still got 6 more charges you're looking into. You'll look into it. You're sure you got the right guy. Then you said the 6 charges were not for domestic. You believe you were clear in your video that they were just allegations. So when you say charges themselves are unproven accusations, not convictions, do you see how you're doing a very wrong thing, or do you still not yet realize that? Like, if you need me to actually put this into words, if you throw around unproven accusations in front of 15 million people, 10 million people, 2 million people, do you see how if you get the wrong guy, that guy's reputation might be irreversibly damaged? Do you see how that person might suffer from something he did not do? Do you see that? So when you say a lot of former employees still alleged to have witnessed or experienced James Warren abuse firsthand, like, can you see how hearing rumors that a guy did it is completely different from convicted felony? Do you see that? So when you brought up Delaware charges, it was confirmed by Jake the Viking that he was an RSO. So I said, okay, Delaware is a horrible person, acknowledged. But if you start accusing everybody because of office gossip, right? Like this person says, there's a running joke, Jimmy is the top spender of OnlyFans models. I heard that weeks ago as a fact, when in reality, someone on Team A theorized that in our office years ago and made it a bit. So like someone heard this as a fact, but later on discovered that it was just a theory and a running joke. This is called office gossip, Dogpack. Even in a small scale, it can seriously damage a person's reputation. I mean, you provided this very evidence. They did like a Google search and make jokes about him. Haha, this guy has the same name as our boss. Office jokes. Rumors. Can you see how if you take office gossip like that and throw it at millions of people, it can be really dangerous? Do you still not? Well, if you need me to provide an example, back when the Boston bombings happened, Reddit was absolutely 100% sure that by playing internet detective, very similar to what you are doing right now, they got the right guy. The guy himself. It turns out that wasn't the guy. Everybody forgot about it. Do you see what you're doing right now? Next point. I called you out to answer this point. You said James Warren offered cocaine and hookers to editors to stay late.
James Warren, also allegedly an ex-drug addict. I've heard that he offered coke and hookers to editors to stay late.
To which you answered, another former employee, Trey Yates, corroborated James Warren giving illicit drugs to employees. Notice how he uses the words illicit drug. The Trey Yates interview that I did a whole video on. The Trey Yates interview stated an allegation that the higher-ups in the company passed around Adderall, to which I responded, wow, if that's true, that's pretty horrible. But I didn't call you out to address Adderall's Dogpack. I called you out to address cocaine and hook allegations. So you guys see how he manipulates information? He purposely used the word illicit drugs instead of Adderall, knowing 100% that that wasn't what I talked about. Remember how I said he tries to connect 2 unrelated pieces of information and tries to pass it off as evidence? Yes, if that's true, the Adderall situation is terrible. But one more point you need to address. Why did you purposefully use the words illicit drugs, knowing full well you weren't giving evidence for cocaine and hookers, but Adderalls? Next point that you skipped over. You also said James Warren beat his dog.
From what I've heard of James Warren's character, how he's hit ex-girlfriends, not let them leave the house, beat his dog.
You did not answer this allegation. Please address that allegation. Do you have evidence? Next point, line number 8. I have never been a drug user. You said he was doing shrooms for a fact. Shows Reddit post about DMT. Are you sure you want to go this route, Dogpack? I'll pull all the evidences out again, and I'll even pull it from my own video from the past, and it's worth watching again because it's really funny. In the cease and desist, the lawyer confirms that Dogpack's Reddit account is called Mr. Beast Creative, and in that account, he lets us know that his alternate account is called That Fivehead Guy. This account, That Fivehead Guy, actually directly contradicts his recent claims on Twitter that he was joking about doing drugs. In that tweet, he said he tried microdosing for depression and anxiety for a week over 3 months ago. Honestly, the taste just made me sick, so I stopped. First of all, you can't claim in the same paragraph that you were never a drug user and then proceed to say you did drugs for a week. That's literally, I didn't do it, but I did it. His Reddit post says, I think I died, and goes, my first shallow DMT. I searched it. Apparently, it's a hallucinogenic drug similar to mushrooms. Sorry, I'm not familiar with drugs. Unlike this guy, I never did drugs. Then he proceeds to explain shallow, meaning I didn't go to hyperspace and interact with alien beings of unfathomable intelligence that spoke with light but rather more of the in-between space. For 1 to 2 minutes that I was out, fully left my body and felt extremely at peace. My girlfriend was cuddling me at the time and said my eyes opened and my fingertips started to go cold, but I still had a heartbeat, so she wasn't too worried. And he expertly advises the other person if they can use a DMT based on a picture on a literal DMT subreddit. So when this guy says, I never did drugs, he lied. Also, remember that Ludwig interview when he was asked if he ever did shrooms? He goes to get some water at the most convenient timing possible. It's actually kind of hilarious.
Were you on shrooms?
No, not really.
Okay, no. You don't get away with that one. What does that mean? Most people are either on them or not on them. I've never been not really on shrooms.
No, truthfully, I wasn't on shrooms. 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 Truthfully, I wasn't on shrooms, but I was like pretending to be like a paranoid schizophrenic, like in that scene where I'm hiding under the bed. And then they kind of just took that and ran with it and said that I was erratic and on shrooms.
So you haven't done shrooms? That's correct. Why'd you go quiet?
Sorry, I was getting water. What'd you say?
Okay, no, that was weird.
You're twisting the narrative again. No, I don't care if Jamie Donaldson also did. I don't care if Steve Jobs, Phil Jackson, and the Beatles did. I care that you lied about it to gain credibility. Line number 9. After saying, I'm going to present the evidence, none of this is evidence. You know you're completely lying here. I'll show the entire video.
Okay, now I personally don't subscribe to any religion. I think there's wisdom in many religious texts. I don't take them literally, but to each their own. The only reason I'm talking about this theory that, Mr. Beast is the Antichrist or whatever, is because it's so popular that multiple people, Mr. Beast works in the Bible Belt, and multiple people at Mr. Beast talked to me about this theory as if they legitimately believe there is a chance that Mr. Beast is the Antichrist. And as I talk about this, keep in mind with religious texts, there's many different translations and interpretations. Okay, I just watched like one video and read the Wikipedia article on the Book of Revelation. I'm just gonna present the evidence that Mr. Beast is the Antichrist as I see it, and it's quite baffling to be honest. So the Book of Revelation is the final part in the Christian Bible. It is a prophecy describing how the world will end. It describes 2 beasts. First, the beast from the sea, who is the Antichrist, and the second beast from the earth, which is the false prophet. The theory is actually that Mr. Beast is the second beast, by the way. This second beast performed great miracles. It made fire come down out of heaven to earth in the sight of everyone. And it deceived all of the people living on earth by means of the miracles which it was allowed to perform in the presence of the first beast. So this second beast is a false prophet performing great miracles as a means of distraction to get people to worship him. When Mr. Beast first started seeing success on YouTube, he bought a church.
Where the heck are we? And what do you film here?
Yeah, so to be specific, you're in a church. So when I first started, there's just no warehouses or studios in Greenville, North Carolina. Yeah. So there are a lot of churches though. We're in the Bible Belt. Yeah. So I bought a church and then we converted it by just like, basically taking all the pews out and just converted it into a studio.
Literally removing imagery of Jesus and replacing it with the mark of the beast. Mr. Beast also died and then rose on the 3rd day. Mr. Beast has performed great miracles. And Mr. Beast teaches children to worship money, which the Bible clearly describes as the root of all evil. In the Bible, Christ also warns, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. Now the main function of this second beast or false prophet is to get the world to worship the first beast. He is not the Antichrist. He is the spokesperson for the Antichrist. And the false prophet also causes people to get the mark of the beast, which is a mark literally placed on the forehead or the wrist of an individual. The Bible describes that without this mark, people will not be able to buy or sell. But getting this mark is considered an unforgivable sin. So if Mr. Beast is the second beast, who is the first? And what is this mark? Well, some Christians speculate that the mark of the beast will be a medically implanted computer chip, similar to a Neuralink, something that Mr. Beast has expressed great interest in.
the Neuralink actually works and you can be in symbiosis with technology and just download things to your brain, you'll be able to make so much money that it doesn't matter how much the procedure will cost. So I think like the first few like would probably go for an absurd amount of money, right? Because like even if you had $0, you could just hypothetically borrow $100,000, get it, because once you have infinite, bandwidth to unlimited knowledge, you could make unlimited money.
Money. I feel like it's just making people less human.
Probably.
For sure.
Probably.
For sure.
Probably.
For sure. Just making people less human.
Probably.
Mr. Beast has been a spokesperson for Elon Musk on many occasions, but he's also been a spokesperson for Steve Jobs and PewDiePie and Mark Rober, the Mark of the Beast. Obviously, this is all up to your interpretation. Personally, what makes the most sense to me is that the Antichrist would not be a person, but a company. The company of YouTube. Or Google. I mean, Google did drop their strange motto of don't be evil. And Mr. Beast has dedicated his life to promoting YouTube. He's inexplicably motivated to do so. Again, this is sick lore. Personally, I don't believe any of it literally, except for the fact that I do believe YouTube will cause the death of humanity.
I'll show you my entire segment. He wanted to start a movement that Mr. Beast is the Antichrist, and he literally starts out the leaked video by saying, I'm going to present evidence that Mr. Beast is the Antichrist.
I'm just gonna present the evidence that Mr. Beast is the Antichrist.
Then lied later on Twitter, saying that he never meant for any of this to be evidence. Where did I lie? Because I am genuinely confused. Line number 10, I meant trained orangutans. Let's look at what you said. The wild orangutans was a meme I posted in response to the orangutan backlash. 439 is about the original Reddit post, which is last to leave zoo keeps it. Again, you're just lying here. Let's take a look at this too. You made this initial post where you proposed to have contestants stay in a cold penguin exhibit until some people give up. Contestants have to avoid being tagged by the orangutan. People have to sleep in the snake enclosure, and people have to hang on to elephant trunk the longest. Of course, people called you out on it, saying LMAO, half of these are silly and actually dangerous. Then your original comment was, there's always a safe way to do it, which you got a -36 downvotes on. But then you edited your comments subtly, ignoring the cold penguin exhibit, people have to sleep in the snake enclosure, and people have to hang on to the elephant trunk the longest. But now when you edited your comment, you suddenly focused on only one species of animal, orangutans, where you felt the most confident you could argue back to people, and suddenly bringing up the idea of trained orangutans. You then made another post in which you confirmed that what you had in mind was wild orangutans. It is not unnatural to make the connection that what you had in mind originally when you made your initial post were wild orangutans as well. So no, I wasn't lying, I had logic behind my argument. But if you insist you meant trained orangutans from the beginning that much, have that one, have the orangutan. But now that you have the trained orangutan, a follow-up question. Why were you perfectly okay with having trained orangutans act for a Mr. Beast video, but later on called out the raccoon for being a paid actor? And before you say, LOL, who cares about the raccoon, it matters because you're being a hypocrite. Line number 11, the island cost more than $1. You initially said the island cost more than $1.
This island costs more than $1.
I showed you news articles that said it was actually $1. Then you switched it up saying it was more than $1 if you include taxes. You said, it's funny these news articles were changed the day after that Twitter exchange. They also leased the island back to the owner for free. It was obviously not $1. If I advertise a taco as $1 and then add $27 in taxes and fees, is it a $1 taco? Also, who cares how much an island costs, LMAO? Well, let's take a look at this too. There are several news articles that state Mr. Beast bought the island for $1. Are you saying he contacted all of these sources and had them all changed? That is a very big claim. Do you, by chance have any evidence? They also leased the island back to the owner for free. It was obviously not $1. If I advertise a taco as $1 and then add $27 in taxes and fees, is it a $1 taco? No, you're purposefully using a very manipulative example. A more appropriate comparison to an island would be like buying a house for $1. If they said they're selling the house for $1, sure, I would consider the taxes, but I would also see no problems with going around telling people that, hey, I bought a house for $1. It's not like we're in a financial analysis situation or a legal situation where we have to get super technical about everything. Sure, a guy can come up to me and say, it's not $1, you paid $27 in taxes, so you actually paid $28. Yeah, a guy can say that, but that guy would also have no friends. Also, who cares how much an island costs, LMAO? It matters because you called a man a fraud using this example? Yeah, it matters. The person who got called out as a fraud cares. What are you talking about? Do you lack empathy that much that this thought doesn't even cross your mind? Line number 12, Mr. Beast's rocket exploded. Implies heavily Mr. Beast never offered refunds. Let's look at what you said. Oh no, using stock footage for entertainment. Emoji. Actually, guys, it didn't explode, it spontaneously burned up. Wow, stock footage for entertainment, huh? Okay, I'll replay the clip. This guy claims he used stock footage for entertainment. I won't even argue back. You guys look at the clip and decide for yourselves if it was a stock footage for entertainment. He showed a completely different clip of another rocket exploding and said on his video that the rocket containing Mr. Beast subscribers' photos that was supposed to go to the moon exploded.
Mr. Beast did a live stream where for only $10, viewers could send a picture to the moon. 3 years later, the spaceship finally launched, carrying beautiful pictures of deceased loved ones to the moon where they would be immortalized. It fucking exploded.
But this is not Mr. Beast's rocket. He showed a completely different clip. Here's the video of the actual rocket launching.
5, 4, 3, we have ignition. And liftoff of the first United Launch Alliance Vulcan rocket, launching a new era in spaceflight to the moon and beyond.
Stock footage for entertainment, read the room, bro. You're accusing him of being a fraud, and you used a completely different clip of a rocket exploding. What do you mean for entertainment? Is canceling a man an entertainment for you? Next point, they should either launch another hard drive with everyone's photos or process refunds for everyone that's not controversial. Let's go over this too. My initial clip. It did not explode. Now, granted, there was a malfunction and the rocket eventually did not end up going to the moon, but Dogpeg also implied very heavily that Mr. Beast did not offer refunds.
So obviously Mr. Beast refunded everyone, right? Right?
When in fact, this was not true. According to this user, they've been offering refunds even before the rocket launched. Now, I guess he successfully circumvented the law because he never flat out said Mr. Beast never offered refunds, he only went,
right? Right?
So he might have dodged around the law on that one. Like, that's a really scummy thing to do. Very heavily imply your argument. And when things go bad for you, you can just escape the law because you were being ambiguous about it. You're trying to shift the conversation into something else, Dogpack. I called you out for very heavily implying that he never offered refunds, and I showed you proof that they were offering refunds way before the launch even began. You deflected this evidence as well. And I called you out for circumventing the law just because you said, right? Right? And you won't even take responsibility for what you implied in the first place. Next point. Again, I never accused the wrong guy. Literally never happened. Show me the right guy. Obviously, the Mr. Beast employees I've spoken to are referring to the CEO. Let's look at the initial clip. Also, Point Dogpack needs to respond to number 3. After he was found to have accused the wrong guy for domestic, he mentioned the fact that he is not a professional journalist or investigator, just a guy throwing allegations around for other people to properly investigate. Like, does he stand by the statement? So, is he saying that he's gonna continue to throw allegations around without doing proper research himself for other people to investigate? Well, then what happens if you throw a wrong allegation around? What happens to the reputation of that person that becomes irreversibly damaged? Oh, you never accused the wrong guy. It literally never happened. Oh, like why do you keep denying everything that happened for a fact, Dogpack? Just because you said, no, I didn't do it, doesn't make the things you've already done not happen. Like, what are you, a child? Let's recap. You called out James Warren for being associated with this case, the state of North Carolina versus James Warren, in your very own video.
There's allegedly domestic charges that were filed against him. And I say allegedly because it turns out there's a lot of people in North Carolina named James Warren who their girlfriends, I guess.
Which you later denied. You never mentioned the case in your video. Then your own source proved you wrong, which you later mentioned she was never my source. Then you claimed you were sure you had the right guy this time. You had 6 court cases that you were looking into, and this is the correct James Warren. You were sure about it. Then you said the 6 NC criminal court cases were not for domestic violence. You accused the wrong guy. At the very least, in relation to this very court case and 6 NC criminal court cases of domestic violence. What do you mean it literally never happened? This right there. And what do you mean show you the right guy? You're the one throwing accusations around. Obviously, the Mr. Beast employees you've spoken to are referring to the CEO. Yeah, the same guys that were doing office gossip about their CEO after a Google search because he had the same name. Yeah, which you later grabbed anonymous DMs about office gossip and published it as a fact. Again, I never had the wrong guy.
You're slowly turning yourself into the boy who cried wolf. How am I gonna pay my rent? How is Pegasus gonna survive?
Do you want me to leak victim testimony which would risk causing them to lose their severance pay or could hurt their chances in a civil suit? There are reasons I can't just leak everything. I'm allowed to form opinions based on off-the-record testimony, and you're allowed to not believe me, but the domestic allegations have never been proven false, as you keep claiming. First of all, you proved your own allegations to be false on at least one occasion. I don't know why you keep denying this. You said this guy had this domestic violence charge in this case, and you later on said, nope, that wasn't the guy. Second of all, no, I don't want you to leak victim testimony. All I am asking is for you to simply not spread unconfirmed office gossip and allegations and only focus on the facts. Is that too much to ask? That's like literally saying, oh, PewDiePie is a pet. Allegedly, but I can't show you evidence because I will be leaking victim testimony. It's a very natural response for people to be skeptic about a claim that you throw out without evidence. You can claim anything without evidence, but you need evidence to persuade people into believing your claims. The only reason that I think you're a horrible person, Dogpack, is because you throw around allegations without proof in front of the world, and you seem to think it's okay to do so. I'm telling you, it's not okay to do so. Give me facts like Delaware, and give me facts like Chris Tyson, and I'll agree with you that, wow, here's the evidence, wow, that person's terrible. You don't do that. Even when you're proven wrong, you keep denying you were proven wrong. You can't even accept the fact that you were wrong about the island being $1, so you have to bring up taxes to argue your point. Allegations without confirmed evidence that you form your opinion on can have devastating consequences for the person you accuse if it later turns out the allegation was wrong. This is why you have the court system. It's not perfect, but it's the closest thing we got. It's certainly a lot better than what you're doing right now, which is a witch hunt. Do you know what allegations are? I'll let the internet do the talking for me. In my opinion, you allegedly burned down an orphanage, and I got 7 sources telling me you did it. You just pushed false allegations to 2 million people. Hey bro, I heard you were... I'm still waiting on the FYA requests to confirm, but I think you should alert all your followers already in the meantime. 2.5 million people saw your baseless domestic accusation of an innocent man. Hey, did you guys know spreading unconfirmed allegations, which are later proven to be false and harmful, can be considered defamatory? My response? Take responsibility for false allegations. Rumors was in the context of Ava allegations, not all allegations. What about James Warren? Are they rumors or facts? Please clarify. You objectively have not proven I've lied 12 times. I at least have enough integrity to not call allegations proof. And I can't believe you're challenging me on integrity, Dogpack. My proofs are testimony from an actual contestant, confirmation of participation and proof of residence, proof of transparency, the history of your account that was both confirmed by you and Mr. Beast's lawyer to be your account, a cease and desist document, testimony from your own source, your own admission of wrongful allegation, history of your testimony from your verified Twitter account, a leaked video that you yourself recorded, news articles, and the correct video of the rocket launch. Your proofs are anonymous DMs or unrelated piece of information that you try to connect as evidence, or a stock footage for entertainment. Who are you calling out on integrity? No, I countered your every single argument. I'll let you have one, the orangutan one, so I can call you a hypocrite. Yeah, all my statements are allegations as well, but I make allegations based on evidence. Quite different from what you're doing. The only possible lies here are drug user, depending on your definition of technically used drugs, but never been a drug user, as synonymous with drug abuser, and rocket exploded because technically it burned up, but exploded is funnier. Guys, here are the key points you need to remember. Next time you see him try to explain something that he got wrong, remember 2 things. 1, he switches up the words to make the argument work for himself. For example, he manipulates the words drug user deliberately into drug abuser and then tries to argue his point, when in reality, that never happened. 2, he says it was a joke, or it was a meme, or it was funny. I'm sure a few of you caught on, but he keeps using these tactics. Keep an eye out in the future. Also, why do you need to use misquotes to form your argument? Just quote what I actually said. Wish granted, what you originally said. My goal is just to bring credible allegations to light so they can be properly investigated and people can be held accountable. My version, I'm just a guy throwing allegations around for other people to properly investigate. I'll let people decide if they mean different things or not. Your burden of 100% proof is hypercritically low. What do you mean? In what ways was I wrong throughout my video? Is this like the same situation as you saying you getting the wrong guy literally never happened? Or do you have reasoning to back up your claim? Please respond. Bar for bar comparison, because that's how consumers actually eat chocolate bars. You think kids are weighing their chocolate out. I intentionally put the grams on the graphics so people could consider that as well. 1022 is the most standard, most popular bars compared to each other. There are no 60-gram Hershey's bar or 43 grams Feastables bars. I got the closest I could. Here's the original clip. Well, I'll end this list off with an honorary mention of him manipulating the numbers to twist the audience into siding with him, where he compares 43 grams of Hershey's with 60 grams of Feastables, saying, hey look, Feastables has more sugar.
Now in 2024, Mr. Beast changed the formula again to where it has mostly the same ingredients as Hershey's and even more sugar and more calories per bar.
Where if you make the grams the same, you can see that Feastables actually has less sugar. Like, it did say bar for bar comparison, but there are small and large versions for every chocolate bar. Like, Feastables has the snack-sized version, which is 35 grams, which is also a chocolate bar. And the Hershey's has like the 73 gram version, which is also a chocolate bar. Like, if you want to be fair about it, you would take the same sample size of grams to compare if something has more sugar in it, but Doc Peck didn't care about fairness apparently. There's no way that he didn't realize he was comparing different sample sizes. This just shows to me that he's willing to cross that line of manipulating the facts just so he can present his arguments. Grams or bar, we'll let people decide. All in all, I missed my freaking Friday and Saturday nights out for this. I'm gonna go eat my ramen noodle now.